Of getting to be in a room with all of you all. Yay!
Thank you for being here. There's a lot of places you could be and you're here to celebrate with us. Thank you.
We love it. So how many people have never been to a Heels on Wheels event? Wow! That is blowing my mind. Well, Sabina, why don't you tell us a little bit about Heels on Wheels then?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
Of course.
Well, Heels on Wheels is a queer, feminine spectrum performance art group. We create events here in Brooklyn and beyond, like our annual and maybe to be revived glitter road show.
Now it's not. We're tired. We're so tired.
To make a book.
We made a book.
We made a book. We were like, oh, we've been touring annually for 5 years, and we're really tired, so we're going to rest. We're going to relax. So we're going to make a book.
An anthology of 60 plus queer artists. What could be hard about that? It was great.
And then we also, so we toured annually for 5 years, all DIY. Damien had this amazing, gorgeous van. So we would jump in the van, we'd go all across the country, doing shows, sliding scale, community spaces, bars, all ages venues, wherever we could get into, basically. And then we had a monthly queer artist salon called the Open Toe Peep Show.
Regular Brandon Saloon. Many of you in this room have attended and performed there. And then now we have
this book, and then we made a book. So we've been busy. That's been happening. How many people in this room are in the book? Yeah. How many people in this room have ever performed at the Peep Show? Hi. How many people in this room have ever performed with Heels on Wheels ever, or in the book, or anything? Anyone who's ever performed with Heels on Wheels or done something, raise your hands. Oh, very exciting. What else are we supposed to say?
Well, I also want to make sure that I say a huge thank you to everyone who participated in fundraising to get this book out and in print. That was huge. That was huge, y'all. That was like our biggest fundraiser to date. That was super dope. Oh my god, I loved it. It was a journey, you know, to publish a book. Like, it's a journey to do any art, right? And it's a journey to do anything that isn't like sanctioned by HarperCollins or, you know, the colonialist state, right? Like, we are always on a journey, like making our stories available to each other, right? So we started making the book in 2014. We put out our first call for submissions. And we started editing and putting everything together in the spring of 2015. And we were like, we're going to find a publisher. We're going to find a publisher. But we can't find a publisher. We're going to do it ourselves, like everything else. And
it's a hard sell, like a big queer-ass anthology of like lots of different kinds of artists. Like, believe it or not, like your Arsenal Pulps and HarperCollins, whatever, aren't like jumping on it. So. It's been a journey.
And we learned things on our journey, like publishers don't put out anthologies because they're hard to lay out. And we were like, well, then we'll just lay it out.
To be clear, Damien laid out the entire book. Like,
so at the very last minute, we were actually connected with this publisher called Publication Studio. They're super dope. They're these two dykes who are in Portland, Oregon, who are living like the happy Portland life, publishing like poetry, and, you know, whatever else they do, making kombucha, I don't know. They have been so supportive and so amazing and so incredible to work with at every step of the way. So we feel super lucky that we found someone to be on our team with this book. And so they worked with us like to actually get it published, to work with a printer. That's where your money came in.
Get a special cover.
Like,
the cover was made by Untitled Queen. You couldn't be here tonight. She's amazing.
So I'll wrap the story of our journey with, for those of you who did donate and pre-ordered books, our publisher who lived their happy Portland, Oregon lifestyle are just sending books out in waves. So if you haven't gotten it yet, you will. They're doing it. They're sending it media mail. We had to send 165 books out because that is how many amazing, awesome folks supported us.
And they, like us, are like a tiny, teeny DIY shoestring.
They're not even 3 dykes, they're 2.
On the social media, hashtag glitter and
yes, take a photo of yourself being cute with a book.
Who's done that not already, we're so excited and gratified.
Hashtag Glitter and Grit, all that social media stuff. So tonight, now we're on tonight, right? So tonight, it's going to be a long show. We have an awesome lineup, so we're never going to publish a book again like this. So this is our party, and we're going to party as hard as we want to. So we have this incredible, stellar lineup of people, and you know, we're trying to keep it short, but there are a lot of people, so if you gotta go, if you gotta take care of yourself, go do that. Please try to wait till in between artists. Please don't get up while someone is performing. Don't do it, because I will call you out. And I mean, if it's an emergency, do your thing, take care of yourself. But just so you know, if you gotta leave, you know, do what you gotta do. But we're here to have this one night and to just have it full of love and magic and celebration. So that's gonna be happening. And on that note, let's get started, right? Grab your book. So we're gonna start off with a little Damien Lutz action with some inspired words from the book. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
All right, folks, so I'm going to be reading to you from the very, very, very first piece of writing in the text. It's the intro. It's called, I laid out the whole book. I can tell you like literally where everything is. And like it's actually in the 1.1 section because we came from a hungry place. And in it, I start with a quote of my co-conspirator. I never sat around waiting for permission to make my art or live my life. Why would I start now? So inspired by Heather. Right? So when this all started, all I wanted was to be weird, smart, queer, and not lonely. I wanted hope and a place to put my ambition. If we had just stayed home, watched internet TV, and waited for someone to discover us, we never would have done all the things we did. We never would have had all the good and bad experiences. We never would have blasted our hearts open, cried in each other's arms, made art, visited 34 states and 3 provinces, or partied as hard as we did. We never would have touched so many people, or fucked up and then challenged ourselves to do better. We never would have had people tell us we changed their lives, inspired them to feminifest their dreams, or helped them get their ideas into the world. I learned early on that if I wanted something, I was going to have to work for it. Ain't no one handing you anything, girl, refrained in my head.
That's right.
But something about that refrain was off. And creating a multi-year art project within radical, queer, feminist, anarchist, punk, and community art spaces shifted that story. People handed me things all the time when Heels on Wheels toured. All the time. Places to stay, dinner, appreciation, drinks, hugs, stories, handmade tokens like pins and patches, zines, confessions, photos, shots. As it turns out, as artists bold enough to tour complex queer femme stories, our generosity was exactly the key to getting to share in the best parts of many fantastic people. The truth is, you can't buy this kind of interaction. You can't throw a bunch of money into a void and expect authenticity to emerge. It was because we came from a hungry place that we got fed. It was because we dared to live our dreams, legitimize ourselves as artists, and dive into the communities we knew were out there that we got to do so. No dads, no masters, no waiting for permission. In early 2010, I roped Heather, the other co-founder of Heels on Wheels, into working late into the night with me on a tour. And we ended up laughing and dressing up late nights too. Our vision was to put our art into the world on our terms, without waiting or compromising, and with fun and adventure. I had the design skills and Dan, and Heather had the charm and coordinating skills. So in part, Heels on Wheels is the story of our friendship, one that allowed us to be the magnificent beings we could be, of shining bright because we said so, of taking our working class hustle and applying it for queer art. Heels on Wheels is also the story of bringing as many people along for the ride as possible, both because it's more fun that way, and because broad impact, amplifying complex identities, and intersectionality all matter. Because we want a big, queer family. It's a story of deciding that our world could be bigger, of making art and sharing it outside of NYC, academic and gallery settings, because those worlds were not offering space for us, and damn if we were going to wait. It's a story of feminism, mutual aid, and solidarity in action, doing it together, DIT, instead of doing it yourself, DIY. Now, imagine yourself in a room full of people, each with their own story of how they got there, how their ancestors got them there. The lights go down as a few queer femmes in glittering attire come into the spotlit room center, and your attention is taken into a story, an experience, a perspective, a surprise, a laugh. Each of these is a temporary walk into someone else's world for that moment. What do you do after? Are you the same or different? Are you willing to remember, to see the world differently, to shift? Years spent producing politicized queer live art has fed me with so many stories. It's led me to believe that space making for queer voices is a daring act of persistence, and so too sharing my own stories. You never know for whom you are leaving the message. Your life too is so valuable, it deserves a stage. I aim to inspire and encourage daring acts of self-preservation in others. I don't know another way forward, but I do know that this one is possible. I can say for a fact, if you believe you are of value, you will find people to agree with you. So for the love of your one short life, go find those people. If you have a vision, please share it. So many people are hungry, and so many of us will come.